I would say I was just searching for, again, a simpler way of living. I already had been living in like studio apartments. I was very minimalist in a lot of ways, but I found myself overcompensating and like shopping and buying things all the time to make myself happy with my current circumstance. I came with the logic of if I work hard, I should be able to buy what I want. And that's the life I live. But then I realized I'm just buying things to compensate for something else that I don't have. I won't say happiness. I just really wanted to be relaxed. I really didn't want to feel rushed. I didn't want to feel like I had to do anything. I just wanted to offer myself a softer life. I guess that's what the girls say, right? So I had to do it. I had to figure a way out to provide that for myself. And the first thing was I gotta get out of the city. I was like, well, I'm gonna come to South Africa and see. Hey guys, I am Paris Cornish. I am from New York City, Harlem to be exact. Currently reside in the lovely Johannesburg here in South Africa. My name is Paris. I'm from New York City and I've relocated to Johannesburg, South Africa. Here we have a big garden. I do my yoga here. And this is my unit here. Number 3. Funny, I always lived on the 3rd floor. I always get to number 3. As you can tell, green is one of my favorite colors. So this place actually came with the bed and the desk and the chair and this little TV. This mirror was here, but I moved it, as you can see, and I kind of did some DIY to give some texture. Here's some of my work. I do my coaching, the self-brew. I did buy this chair because I like to read, so I sit here, I light my candle, I read my book. I did buy my little rug to match, and I have my plant. It's not eucalyptus, but it looks like it. So I kind of have this theme running throughout my space. I put it on the clock. So I like to have the clock because I always need to know what time it is, especially because I do still work in US time. Mostly, so here I like to know, and then here they do military time, and even though I'm used to being in the military, I don't know what 2200 is. I knew I was ready to leave America back when COVID happened, and I did, and I went to Portugal. But unfortunately, I did return back to the States, and I got back, into the way of America. And I woke up one day and I decided I was just unhappy, and it's like I lived a good life, but I still wasn't satisfied. So I figured I wanted to make a move again. And I have some friends who have relocated here to Johannesburg. He was actually my neighbor back in Atlanta. And he's been telling me, like, I need to come see it. And it took me 2 years, but I finally came. And now I'm here and I love it. And this is my kitchen. So you see I have my plant here again. Some dishes that I washed there. Then here is where all the cooking happens. So I have my tea. I just have my tea every day. I have green. The theme runs throughout the space. Here is my matcha. You gotta have your matcha. This is instant matcha. It says it's made from 100% Japanese matcha. Maybe not. And then this is what I use, my little bowl. So it's been very hard to actually find matcha here in South Africa. I even went to the China Mall. They had no matcha. My wine, because sometimes we have wine. And here's my fridge. So we have our water. I have some flavors for my matcha. I have some bubbles for a good time. And then my eye roller lives in the fridge too. I have this air fryer. So this is my oven. So I do have the burner, but this is the oven. I have air fryer. I can toast, I can bake, all that jazz. And then most of my Other things are there. Some more dishes, pans, bread, pasta. And then here is my lovely restroom. It's pretty big actually. Like I have a tub, of course the toilet, and then there's a nice like vanity they gave me here. So I do my makeup. It's pretty good lighting. So it's nice. And that's pretty much what I have here. So it's everything that I need. It's just me. So I try not to like jump out the window and get big place just because I can have big place. Luckily, I've been studio living for a long time now. I've had a studio apartment probably like the last 6 years, even back home in the States. So essentially this is a studio. I have a closet. It's a pretty big closet as well. They gave me like extra storage. I haven't used it yet. I figure once I get my matcha stuff, I can store it there. So I even have room for that. And then the closet is pretty big. Closet. And yeah, my big bed. I have a great big bed. This is my happiest thing, to have your own bed after living in Airbnb. This is nice when you have your own and it's yours and it's the same sleep every day. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we have some privacy curtains, but usually I leave it open because I do like to look into the garden. This is my selfie stick, when I do my, you gotta hang it like that. Hold it for me. This is where we're gonna watch the YouTube. And yeah, so that's my space. So if you're a solo person, you can come. You don't need a bunch. I'm central, I'm close to everything. It's safe, it's gated. I have some garden. So yeah, I love it here. My first impression of South Africa, well, I started in Cape Town, which is very beautiful. So it's easy to, be in awe. I was, really, it was like being in America, honestly. I didn't miss anything. It had very good restaurants. It had the beach. It had nice bars. It had the lounge. So everything I would do, it had shopping. Everything I would do at home, I could do here. So that was the first thing. I realized that people were really kind to me. They were very receptive of me. They were very helpful even. And however, there is, Cape Town does have a lot of Europeans there. So I was like, this is my first time. Well, technically, I've been to Cape Town before when I was a model. But this time, I'm old enough and wise enough to kind of look at it through different lens of my eyes and see, or try to understand, the culture a little bit more this time. And I, understand the history with apartheid and things like that. So to go and see it like in person in real time, I was like, okay, interesting. But I need a little more Africa. I want to be around my people. I want to be around people that look like me. And it just wasn't enough of that for me in Cape Town. So then I came to Joburg. I actually started in Joburg down in the CBD. I did not know where I was. I did not know where I was. I saw like a crime the first 2 hours I was here from the airport. And I wasn't scared. So I think that was like the first sign of like, I think I could be okay here. It didn't scare me off. It didn't scare me back to the airport. It didn't scare me back to Cape Town. So I definitely left that neighborhood, however. But I realized that if that didn't shake me, then I do like the energy that I am receiving here. So I was able to visit like different areas in Joburg, and I liked them all pretty much. I even liked the place I booked for the CBD. It just, unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend that's your first stop here, unless you know people there. I was in Parkhurst. My friend, he has a home there in Parkhurst. And I was able to, stay with him while I was able to look at different places. And Sandton seemed like, the most central place for me. I was near the mall, a huge mall. A lot of restaurants. It was walkable, which is important to me as a New Yorker. If I can't walk somewhere, then I can't live there. And that was another thing. I didn't want to have to drive. I left my car in America and I had no intent on driving ever again. So I needed somewhere where I can walk, but it's still pretty central if I did have to call Uber or a car. So as far as cost of living, I spend about, say, for rent and electricity, my Wi-Fi is included, water is included, which is nice. I pay, let's say, about 9,000 Rand. So that's maybe like a little over 500 US dollars a month. And food, I spend a lot on food. Food is probably my biggest expense, food and maybe Uber, because again, I don't drive. So I do take a lot of Ubers. I might take 3 or 4 Ubers a day, depending where I'm going. But those are about, I'd say on the high end. I think the most I paid for Uber since I've been here was maybe like 17 US dollars. And that's like coming from the airport or going to the airport. That's like the furthest distance. Everything else is pretty central. So my Ubers during the week will probably be $4 to $7 if even. And I do those multiple times. So sometimes I might spend $17 to $20 in a day just going to different places. And then food, I would say, is my biggest expense because I don't cook. I don't like to cook, at least. I have started cooking some since I have time now. But I eat out a lot. I eat out at least once a day. And that is usually, I'll say on average, I spend about 600 Rand, which is about 40 US dollars. And then I found like a, maintenance. I found like nail salon. That'll be maybe like 1,200 Rand to do my nails and my feet. And this is like extensions, so that's nice. That'll be maybe, it was 1,200, like $70 maybe, give or take, depending what kind of style I get. My hair is typically like maybe 1,000 Rand. I've been able to get my hair braided. This is my first time getting my hair braided since I was a kid. Because in the US, well, I did like box braids here and there, but only for vacation. In the US, if you get your hair braided, they ask you if you're going on vacation. You can't just get your hair braided and just have braids because you want braids. It's frowned upon, actually, in some workplaces. So I got my hair braided when I got here, and I literally had like a moment with myself where I cried because I couldn't believe that I had, been so into like society norms that I wouldn't even braid my hair. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't believe that I was doing that. So yeah, I've been getting my hair braided. I love to keep my hair braided. It's easy. I can just get up, I can go. And then if I don't do my braids, I can, manage to do my own hair, which has been nice. So yeah, those would be, think of like my main expenses, give or take. I took a trip to Botswana, which is southern Africa, and I did that for Christmas. And that maybe was like a $300 trip, including travel and lodging, which was really nice. And I'm gonna go back soon. And even to go to Cape Town, if I want to go to Cape Town just for the weekend, that also is probably like a $300, mini vacation, just for travel and lodging. So it's really nice.
Hey Web Nation family, for years we've been sharing stories of diasporans who have relocated from the diaspora and currently living here on the continent of Africa. You guys have been enjoying the episode, saying in the comment section that you want this to be you one day. Why don't we just bring that time to now? We are inviting you to come on a trip with us to South Africa, November 2026. This is going to be an 11-day experience of we visiting cities like Cape Town, Johannesburg. We having experiences like going to the wine lands and actually experiencing South Africa, the people, the food. This is not just a vacation. This is a very well detailed experience that gives you the proper insight on people interested in relocating. The beautiful part about this is we've made it easy for you to come on this trip with us. By you just making the deposit, you get to pay the rest in installment and get yourself on a trip with us to South Africa. Scan the QR code, secure your spot, and see you in South Africa. Now guys, let's get back into the video.
Absolutely. Absolutely more affordable. I think I speak to a few of the locals and I ask them, just out of curiosity, how much do they make like in their roles in different places. One gentleman was explaining to me that he maybe makes like, I think he was saying like 10,000 Rand a month. I think they pay monthly here. And that is like maybe like $600 a month. So could you live off of that with a roommate? Yes, I would believe so. But if you again live at home with your parents and all that is covered, you can do a lot, with 600 Rand a month. Well, $600 a month here. So I do want to start making some Rand as well. I do want to definitely help the economy. Like I said, hospitality here has been great. Some of the workers I meet are excellent at what they do. So I'm really hopeful to create something where I can hire them as well and even pay them more, than they are, currently getting paid. And that excites me. I am a life coach, so I do personal development coaching and I do some branding and strategy corporate coaching. So it's called Etiquette and Espresso because I believe getting help should be as easy as ordering espresso. And I coach now. So I used to do group coaching. I used to have easily maybe 7 to 10 clients a month. Now I take 2 clients a month. And I'm able to make that same, say, 6,000 to 7,000 I typically make through my coaching. So it's nice. I don't have to work as hard. And when I was doing group coaching, I was making less, but more in volume, if that makes sense. But now I have the time to focus more on one-on-one coaching without it being a part-time. It's part-time technically, but it's full-time for me here because I just don't have to take as many clients, which gives me a lot of time to develop more resources. I have a journal. I have 2 journals that I was able to complete. I have the self-brew journal, which I do sell digital products as well. So if you don't book me directly for a full coaching, service, I still sell one-offs. I do calls. I do, clarity calls where that's just a one-off experience if you just need a little bit of assistance. And then I also have a 6-week and I have a 12-week program, which my goal is always to get you on a 12-week program. But if you just don't have it, that is okay because, again, I do sell my resources as digital products. So you can still get those. And I range those maybe from $15 to like $25. So like I said, it's very much so affordable. That is, self-taught. You do have to do it yourself with the self-brew. And now that I'm here in South Africa, come March, I am going to begin retreats. So now I have another way to earn income and by inviting you guys to South Africa to see, how lovely it is here and also do that one-on-one coaching in person, retreat style. So I'm really excited to see how that works as well. Something surprising I realized about saving and spending money here. I think I'm always so used to having to make X amount, like my bottom line in the US was pretty high. At home, I probably easily spend like $7,000 a month between rent, car insurance, car note, food, utilities, and easily $6,000, $7,000 a month. And that's without buying myself something nice. And typically I like to do that as well. I have actually cut my expenses all of my expenses to about $1,000 a month. I spend less than 1,000 sometimes even US dollars a month. And that's if I'm like not going out as much, but I don't have to not go out as much. I'm able to pretty much do what I want to do when I like to do it. And that is the soft life I was looking for. And I also realized I don't have to work as hard. It's been very trying to remind myself, like, you do not have to work as hard because you don't have to earn as much. And I think that has been that. I'm so used to having to make it that I've really had to rewire my brain and saying, I don't have to make that much. I really don't have to, so I don't have to work as hard. And I think that that was the goal, right? That was my goal by leaving the US. So now with some practice, I'm kinder to myself, I'm softer with myself, and I, just remind myself constantly, like, it is okay that I didn't do anything today. I really, when like my first month here, I would feel terrible about myself. Like, I didn't do anything this whole day. And I'd be like, you got to do better tomorrow. And the next day, I wouldn't feel like doing anything either. And, but someone told me recently, if we do like 2%, 2% of anything every day is really enough. And now that I think like that, I've been able, and now that I have the luxury of slowing down, I really do want to do that. But I did just get here, so I'm like, maybe I need to hit the ground running and then slow down. So we'll see which path I go, but you definitely don't have to work as hard. You don't have to stress yourself out. And saving, the amount that I'm saving, I think I cut my life. When I moved to Detroit, I cut my expenses in half. By moving here, I cut my expenses into like a fourth. So if you look at it like that, I'm saving 75% of what I make now versus I was at 90% spending at home, 10% saving. So it really is nice. It does put me in the frame that I can be helpful. If someone does need help. I had a friend, unfortunately her home burnt down recently while I was here, and she did a GoFundMe, and I was able to donate, and not feel bad or be like, oh, I can't. I was able to help out someone else in need because I was here. If I was home, I could have told her she could come stay in my house. That's the only help I would have been able to offer. So that has been nice. Definitely more free because, like I was saying before, I have to remind myself that I don't have to make as much money. So the freedom is there. The freedom is absolutely there. If, again, I went from booking 7 clients a month to I can have 1 client a month and sustain my life here, so that is nice. And by being here, it has opened opportunities for me to, pivot into as well. So before I did my group coaching, I did city meetups. We used to travel to, I did a meetup in Arizona, I did a meetup in Denver, in DC, New York. So I used to do group meetups, but that was in the US. So I'm really excited to let people have the exposure, want to come to Africa. I think everyone should come to Africa at some point. So I'm happy to be the one to have the freedom to set up retreats, to get people over here, to also let them, they can also have a soft life as well if that's what they like to do. So I would say that I definitely am able to hustle here in ways that just make sense. I think by me coming here and showing up and staying in different neighborhoods and different Airbnbs and different hotels, I was kind of able to see what someone visiting Joburg would need versus, people who live here. And I find that a lot of people do visit Joburg and Cape Town. So it made sense to me to offer a service that I needed when I was, before I found my place. And that main service was laundry. And funny enough, I've always wanted to open a laundromat. That's like been on my list of things to do. However, those are very expensive to do. So I was like, you know what? I can use my logistics skills here, something that I'm good at. And I can basically create a concierge service where I can do pickup, drop off, dry clean, clean clothes. So I have started that. And that is something that at home, I guess I could have done, but not really, because at home, everyone has a washer and dryer, Here, you might have a washer, not a dryer. What I will say, if you don't have a dryer, it maybe takes 3 days for your stuff to dry hanging outside. And don't let it hang outside in the rain. So I was like, you know what? I should set this up. I'm doing it just in my area of Sandton as of now, while I figure the logistics out. But it's been good response. So yeah, so I was able to do that here, and I can't do that at home. I also am looking into doing a cafe of some sort. I've been looking to do like a pop-up matcha experience because I don't want to rent anything. I don't necessarily want to have, when I closed my space in Georgetown, I was so happy to free myself of having to, have turnkey experiences. But what I also realized here, like I mentioned before, the staff and the workers are so great that if I did choose to open a cafe, I know that they are reliable people here that would love to work there and would love to run it. So I still could be pretty much hands off, which excites me. But I'm going to start as a pop-up. I'll do pop-ups in different areas just to test it out. There's not a lot of matcha here, so I want to see if the people even like it first. But I do have a space not too far from here that has already, offered me their space to do the pop-up. So again, the people here are great. Has this country changed my outlook on life? I learned this word actually, what they call it, futuristic. I've always been open to new things and able to, with it, like they say, like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I wanted to come here and I didn't want to come, I didn't want to be like, colonizing. I really wanted to be with the people. I wanted to do what the people do. So I wouldn't say it changed my outlook on life. I think it has exposed me to, new things of a way of living. And just seeing the people here that, I know don't, necessarily make, say, the most money, but they're still kind people. They're still happy people. And I think that was the biggest thing I noticed, because even at home where people make a bunch of money, they're not nice. They're not helpful, a lot of the time. Everyone is very self-interest. And here, these are complete strangers. I don't know them from anywhere. And everyone has been so helpful. They tell me places to try. They tell me things I should see. They tell me about the culture. They share their history. So I've learned so much in the, small time I've been here already that, so yes, I guess it would say it changed the way I look at things, actually. Because it's nice to see people support each other and support strangers even, So I would say yes, that I have changed how I look at things. So this lovely garden that I have here, I don't even go to the park in the US. I'm not an outdoor girl, I don't go to the beach. Like, I'm a very much so on land, city girl, but here, even the birds, I'm sure you guys hear the birds, but the birds, I hear one bird every day, same time, and now I look forward to it, The rain, I used to hate rain. I hated when it rained. You know why? Because I had to go to work. I had to leave the house and deal with the rain. Now I enjoy the rain. I enjoy the sound of the rain. I enjoy the smell of the rain. I even stood out in the rain the other day. And these are things that I have never done at home, so I really am enjoying the nature, I would say mostly. I enjoy the food. I've been very open to trying new food, trying new things. At home, no way, Jose, because things are so expensive. You have to get what you know is good. I'm way less willing to try things at home because if I don't like it, you can't return it. They don't care. And you just wasted your money. Here, I'm able to try things. Even if I make a face, they're like, you don't like it? What else would you like? We want you to be happy, so I'm open to trying things way more than I was ever at home. Sacrifice that I had to make, I would say, again, it was to be selfish. I had to be selfish. I had to choose myself, and it's frowned upon. You know, when you hear selfish, like, oh, but I'm a person who is very giving. I share. I'll give you my last. I don't do that anymore. But I've always been very giving, very helpful, very empathetic, you know, to others. And I think that's because, you know, I didn't have parents growing up, you know, so I think somewhere I understand, you know, more than others. And I'm always willing to help. But I was like, you know, if I want the life that I say I want, I'm the only person that can give me that life. And I think once I understood that, I was like, I have to worry about myself. And the emotional trade-off, you know, some days I feel bad. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't just worry about yourself. But I know I'm a good person, you know, and I am still helpful, you know. Not much has changed in that way, but I think for the first time in my life, like I said, I'm putting myself first. How did I build my community here and do I feel welcome? So I have like neighbors here that we, you know, met the first day. We had tea. We played games. They invite their friends. I played a game called 30 Seconds. I would say it's like American Taboo. But I had a disadvantage because it is a South African game. But it was actually pretty cool because I was able to learn a lot about South Africa because of the game, you know. And I was also able to meet like a lot of other Americans that are here through, you know, just other Americans. And I went for Thanksgiving. I went to a home here in Sandton, and it was a bunch of, you know, us there from Durban to Cape Town and in Joburg, and it was so much fun. You know, we played spades, which is, you know, very American. And yeah, 'cause everyone, it's been kind. It's been so like refreshing, really. Like no one is not like trying hard. You have to speak to people. When I found myself when I first got here, just asking people like, "Hey, can you help me?" Or "Hey, do you know this?" And everyone is like, "Hello, how are you?" You know. So now I make sure I say, "Hello, how are you?" as well. And you know, I feel like every group I meet or every person I meet, we kind of connect with their people and vice versa. So it's very easy to kind of build that community also through like social media. You know, I'm able to say hello to someone else that just said I'm new to Joburg, and you know, we make plans to meet up or hang out in some way. So yeah, it's been really easy, and even the locals, like I said, they're great. They're kind. They, you know, will help you for the most part. So it's nice. I would say the thing that surprised me the most is that it's very much so like home in a lot of ways. I don't know what I was expecting, but I think that like they love hip hop. They love hip hop in R&B, and they like the good hip hop in R&B, like the 2000s, 99 hip hop in R&B. And then I'm able to, you know, learn their music here. The food, pretty much anything I can get at home, I can get here. So it's not like I am missing anything per se. The stores, I don't know what I was expecting, but the mall is huge. They have everything you need. Okay, you're not missing anything. Luckily, I don't shop anymore. You know, I gave that up. That's something I gave up. I've been fully sustainable for like over a year now because I understand that I have everything I need. And I've been living out of the same like 2 suitcases since March of last year now. And I know now I have everything that I need. You know, it's been proven. So yeah, it's like now I'm able to focus on what it is that I actually want to do. And it's kind of like, it's like earlier when you're like, oh, when you graduate college, you know, you think you're going to go into this career and you think that's going to be what you do. This is like my second like graduation, you know. I feel like I'm like graduated, I have all the tools, I have all the knowledge I've learned. Now what do I do with that, you know? And I'm able to do that here in a place where it is conducive, It's not stressful. I have the time, I have the energy, I have the support. I can support myself. And I meet people that are willing to help. How do we work together? You know, and people are willing to work together, unlike, at home. And it's not all about money, 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 which I really enjoy. We all like money, but it's nice for that not to be the start of everything. So I remember, it's a quote, is a lady I know, Lisa Cooper. She's a stylist, big time stylist in New York. I met her years ago when I was a hostess at a restaurant. And I remember she asked me, she said, "What do you do?" And I was so confused. I was like 19, I think. And she's like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I work here." She's like, "No, what do you do?" And I was, so confused by the question, because I'm like, "Girl, you see me, I'm at work. I work here." And she's like, "No, you're rich." She said, "You're so rich." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I don't make that much money here." And then she told me, she's like, "That's an energy." She said, "Being rich is an energy. It's not about the money. It's about how you carry yourself, how you're able to deal with others, how you treat others." So I think, yes, I think I'm very wealthy. I think I'm very wealthy here because I don't have to have the mindset of, I better make this, I got to make my bottom line. If I don't make my bottom line, what do I have to take from? What do I have to sacrifice? What can I not do now? Because it's just, I don't have it, I can't ask anyone for it, So I think I'm very wealthy in the way that I have so much less. Like I have so much less things, and then I realized that those are just things. And something that was very important to me when I think of happiness and I think of my life and I think of the life that I want to see myself have at the end of this, I don't want to be the person that you go to their home and they're gone and it's nothing but stuff there. I think if something happened to me today or tomorrow, I think if you cleaned out my home here, it would tell a story of who I am, what I liked, what my philosophies are. I think I'm present in that way more than ever before. Connecting deeper, I think at home you don't really have the time. You have friends, you might not see them for years. You have friends that live in your town and you still might not connect. So I think now that I am far away, I can really see people that appreciate me for me and not for what I could do for them, or not for the access that I provided to them. I think now, like when I do call home and the people I do speak to back home, these are people who are Team Paris, like they support me and not monetarily, but they, I have a friend, he texted me the other day, he's like, "You're a legend," and we don't speak every day, but he took that time out to text me and just say that, and that was so kind, same at the top of the year, I made sure I reached out to everyone who played a part of even me coming here. They might not know it, but when I told them I was leaving, they didn't say negative things. They didn't say, "What are you, crazy?" They didn't say why. They like, "Girl, let me know and I could come see you," So I think really just appreciating people who show up for you. And I think connecting beyond like surface is something that I value a lot more now. I would identify as a single gal. But I'm open, to dating. I'm not like closed off, I'm open to dating and, meeting people and, we'll see what happens. In the next 5 years, I probably will have a cafe here. Probably have the first Matcha cafe here in South Africa. And that's it, maybe I'll open one here, maybe one in Cape Town as well. And I just see myself traveling, enjoying myself, checking on business as needed, visiting the continent as, all over. I definitely want to see, more of the continent. I want to go to West Africa. I would like to go to East Africa. Maybe I'll stay there even for a short period just to, be one with the people. But yeah, I really see myself exploring mainly the continent and just seeing what type of life I can design here. Like, I don't want much. I don't need a big house just because I can have one. If I got a big house, it would have to be for purpose. Maybe I foster some children, or I really just want, like I said, the simple things. I would like to have something that again can help the economy here. That's important to me. It's important to me to be a good employer here, and giving other people opportunities through what I'm offering. I would say just do it. I would say I know. What I love to say is you were born by yourself, unless you're a twin. You were born by yourself, and if you think of it like that, you should not stop your life, or because you have to take care of anyone else's life, unless it's your kids. If you have children, that's different. But if you're a solo, single person, childless person, this is your time. I would tell you to do whatever it is you want to do, because you can do it. You can do more than most, and you don't have to consider as much as other people. So you really don't have any excuse, and there's resources out there. You can watch videos like me, and, just do it. The worst case scenario, you have to go back home. We know how to go home. That's the easiest thing you can do, so I would say go for it. I would have told her to leave sooner. I would have told her to come 3 years ago, or 2 years ago when I knew my friend moved. I think, again, I would tell myself not to be so concerned about my bottom line. I would tell myself that there's a way to have, everything that you want, but I would tell myself not to get caught in the system that America sets up that is easy to get caught in. I think you have to, again, you have to choose yourself, but to choose yourself, you have to understand yourself enough. And even with understanding, you have to be a decision maker. I would say make decisions, don't linger on it too long, make smart decisions. But I think if something comes to you and it's in your spirit, don't ignore it, because you eventually will do it at some point, and you could have did it sooner. I would say don't believe what they tell you. Okay, South Africa is beautiful. I hear great things about all of Africa, actually. I think, again, they get a bad rap. And I think you shouldn't listen to anybody until you experience it yourself. I think only you know what you like and what you are able to deal with or would deal with. So I think don't listen, try it. I would say try it. If you like it, great. If you don't, you don't. But don't take anyone else's opinion. We'll take it with a grain of salt, as they would say. But yeah, trust yourself and try it. Try it. Just try it. That's all you can do. There's nothing wrong with trying things.